but I wanted to share my story of how I met my fiance of almost 7 years on Xbox Live online and became a teen mom out of it. So my fiance and I have been together almost 7 years, and 2 of those years were exclusively online, where we had never even met each other before. So it's a pretty intricate story. Like it's very unconventional, obviously, but anyway, so I discovered Xbox when I was 13, and I hopped on, and it was my older brother's Xbox. So the only games he had were like Call of Duty and like Grand Theft Auto and that kind of thing. So I was 13, almost 14, and I discovered the Xbox, and I discovered Call of Duty because we didn't have any other games to play. So long story short, I became obsessed with Call of Duty. I played it all the time. I was in 8th grade, and yeah, I just really fell in love with the game. So I found a game mode on Call of Duty where it's search and destroy, for those of you who do know the game. And back then, the game was Black Ops 2. You couldn't be in a party chat. You had to be in like the public game chat in order to talk to people. So I would go in there and socialize and talk to everybody, because that was like the game mode, like the game mode, because everybody could talk and hang out and meet people. So I would play that game mode. And one time I met a girl, and we were in this lobby, and like all these guys were making fun of her because her or us, I don't fully remember, making fun of just girls in general for not being good at the game. Like they were saying like, oh, girls can't play, blah blah blah. And I stuck up for her, and I was like, no, like girls gotta stick together, she's doing really good, I'm doing really good, like we're better than you guys. Like just kind of joking around, saying like, quit being so rude, girls are fine. Anyway, so we ended up adding each other as friends, me and this girl. And according to my fiance, she was friends with him on Xbox. So like she was in his friend group, and like they played together for like a year, so she knew him really well, and he was friends with her on Xbox. And apparently she told him that she had met a girl, and that was me, and that she was super excited because she didn't have very many girl friends on Xbox, and she was excited to play with me and whatever. And my fiance said that he wanted to meet me, so we'll call him Gage, that's his name. So Gage said that he wanted to meet me, and he didn't care what it took. He just wanted to play with me and see if I was a good fit for the friend group. So she gave him my Kick, if you guys remember Kick, or anybody who knows what Kick is. It's like it was a chatting app back then. It was super like popular. That's how all the kids and teens talk to each other. So she gave him my Kick, and he texted me every day for like 3 or 4 days straight, and I just straight up ignored the messages because I didn't know who this guy was. He was saying like, hey, like you want to play, like let's play tonight or today or whatever else, and I didn't know who he was. So I was like, I'm just gonna ignore this because this is weird. Like I don't know, I was really weirded out by it. And eventually I came to realize that he was friends with this girl that I had met. And so I said sure, and I hopped online, and we got into a game of COD, and I left because I got so nervous, and I was just overwhelmed, and I was like, oh my god, like this is so weird. I don't know why I left, but I left. So I basically stood him up. We were in a full lobby with friends, and I just straight up left. I said I went, like my brother had to hop on or something, which was completely untrue, but I found a way to get off because I was not down. So it was a couple more days since then. Like he kept texting me, he was like, hey, like I really can't wait to play, like I wish we could have gotten to play that one time. And finally I hopped on again with the friends again. So like it wasn't just him and I don't know why I was so nervous. Like I was just super weirded out. It was probably because he was just texting me, I didn't know who he was. But yeah, so I hopped on, and we had fun. Like I had fun. I was talking a little bit. Like I was still pretty shy and nervous. I don't really understand why. I guess like I must have known what was happening because I was like super nervous, and I didn't really get nervous to play with people on Xbox. But yeah, so that night, after we had played like a couple hours, all of our friends were getting off to go to bed, and Gage and I decided that we were going to stay on and watch a movie. So like we were going to find a movie that we mutually had access to, and then we were going to time it together. So like go to 3 seconds and press play. So we did that. And then one movie turned into 2 movies. And then we must have watched 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 movies that night, because we ended up staying up together alone until 6 in the morning that night. And we really hit it off. Like, honestly, I would have never expected that to happen out of someone random that I met on Xbox, but we had a lot of fun. We stayed up all night, and from then on, we were pretty much inseparable on Xbox. Like, we played every day, all the time, and soon enough, he asked me to be his girlfriend. And of course, I said yes. And I didn't really think much of it, because I was like 13 or 14. No, I was 13 still. And so like when you're 13, like dating is just kind of a joke. Like you're like, oh yeah, we'll date, like you're my boyfriend, I love you, blah blah blah. So I didn't take it fully serious. Not that like I did anything, but it was just more of like a, oh yeah, we're together, even though I've never met you and whatever else. And then we ended up dating online for 2 years. So from 2014 until 2016, we had dated online, like exclusively. We had never met each other. We relied on like Skype and Xbox, and like we'd watch movies and TV shows and YouTube, and we played all the games. He bought me an Xbox One, which came out when we were dating, because I couldn't afford one at the time, and he sent it to me. And that's when I knew, like, oh my god, like he really, really likes me. Like, who buys somebody they've never met an Xbox? So he bought me an Xbox, and coming June of 2016, right after he had graduated, because he was 2 years older than I was at the time, or still, but he was 2 years older than me, so I was 16 and he was almost about to be 18, and he called my mom. Well, like my mom, I had always talked to my mom about him, like she knew all about him, and I could always tell her like, oh my god, I'm playing with Gage, like blah blah blah. So she knew about him, and she knew that I really liked him, and she thought it was weird because like I'd never met him obviously, and you know, like this wasn't really a thing back then, like internet dating. It was still kind of new, and like long distance relationships weren't taken seriously. But he called her behind my back, like I didn't even know about this, and he asked if he would be able to come visit to meet me and stay in our house for a week. And so I would have never pictured my mom saying yes, but she did. And he came down to meet me, which was incredible because I would have never expected that to have happened. So it was just after summer, or it was just starting of summer, school had just ended, and he flew down to meet me, and we had an amazing week. Like seeing him for the first time in the airport, I wish I would have had it on video. I fell in love all over again because it was like so surreal that this person I had been talking to and like falling in love with over the internet on Xbox Live was standing in front of me now. And we went on a date that night. Like he came here and I took him to a really nice restaurant that I loved, and I made him try poutine, which is like really good Canadian food that he'd never tried. And we went to a movie, and we honestly just had a really, really fun week, and like it was so refreshing to feel like we were a real couple. And then that week ended and he had to go, and that was probably the biggest like heartbreak in a sense that we had to have dealt with in our relationship to that point, because we knew we'd have to go back to being online, which we didn't love, obviously. Like we wanted to be in person, a real couple, but we were so used to being online that like it wasn't anything new. But after having met each other and being together and having fun and going on dates for a week, it was heartbreaking to have him leave. So he left, and we went back to our day-to-day routine on Xbox, and like we were kind of bummed, but whatever, like this is how it had to be. And then he managed to apply and get into school in my city internationally, because he was from the United States, I'm from Canada, and he managed to get into school. So he moved here for his first year of college just to be with me. And that was like the end of our online relationship in a sense, because we had exclusively dated online for 2 years until 2016, and then September 2016 he moved back, not back, but he moved here for school. So he lived here from September to I think late May, so for the school year, and then he had to go back home to work and make money, obviously, because he couldn't work here at the time. And it was the heartbreak all over again, because at this point we had been a real couple in person for almost a year, and we were having so much fun, and like we forgot all about like playing on Xbox and how we could never even touch each other or see each other or hug. And yeah, so we felt like we really established ourselves as a couple at this point. But he did have to go back to work, and we had to go back through the cycle of the heartbreak and back to online, but we made it work. We watched our movies, we played our games, and then he came back for a second year. So the following October, he came back. So we had been online again for 4 months or so, and then he came back for another year, and he left the next April. So we were kind of cycling between like being online and in person, but we made it work. We never faltered. We definitely knew we wanted to be together, regardless of all the obstacles and people who were laughing and saying like, oh my god, like you met each other online, like that's so weird, you're never gonna stay together, you're so young, like don't even call it your boyfriend. And we managed to, we stayed together through it all. And the following July of 2018, so he had already left. He left in April or so. He had to leave a little bit early. So he had left, he was working, and he got a place in his hometown in the United States. And I applied to school there for my college, because now I was graduating high school, like I was finally free. I wasn't stuck to going to school every day here. So he got a place, and I applied to school there, and I got in, and my mom helped me figure it all out, and like we put in all the paperwork, and she offered to pay my tuition because it was a little bit more expensive, and she was honestly just an angel. And I got to, at 18, not even, I was just about to turn 18. So at almost 18 years old, I got to move I got to move countries to go to college and live with my boyfriend, which I think is pretty cool because not many people have been able to say that. But we had so much fun. Like we were finally living together. Like when he had come here for school, he was living in his own apartment because I was obviously still young and like whatever. So he lived in his own apartment, and now we live together. And this is when we felt like our lives were complete. We were finally in person together, and like we put our long distance stuff behind us. So we had an amazing time. I had gone to school for 1.5 years. My program was 2 years. I was supposed to be graduating. And like he was working, I was in school, we lived together, we got 2 cats, and like we had a lot of fun. Felt like a real couple. And then in October, 6 or 7 months before I was supposed to be graduating, and we were going to be figuring out what we were going to do with our lives and like where we'd go and what we'd do, I found out that I was pregnant. And this put a big hole in our plans. Not in a bad way, like we definitely wanted kids, and like we knew we'd want to start trying eventually, but like I was supposed to be graduating school, and we weren't sure we wanted to stay where we were at the time. So that was a lot to deal with, to find out that I was pregnant at that time. But we made it work, and we picked up everything. We dropped all of our stuff in his apartment. Like we sold all of our furniture, the car, he quit his job, I had to stop school for the time. And we moved back to Canada because we found that was going to be more beneficial to us for our circumstance. But moral of the story is that I met a boy on Xbox Live when I was 13 in the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 servers, and here I am almost 7 years later, and we have a beautiful baby girl who's about to be 6 months old, and we really made it. So if you ever have any doubt about your relationships online or not, just know it's definitely possible. Like dating when we were online, like exclusively when I was like 14, 15, 16, and like all my friends made fun of it, and everybody was like, you're never gonna, like, it's not real dating, it's not a real relationship. That wasn't true, because we've definitely outlasted. Okay, sorry about the jump, but my phone died. Yeah, I recorded my phone, what about it? Anyway, so yeah, we outlasted almost everybody, if not everybody, that I knew who had relationships in high school, and we weren't even together in person. So that's true love right there, and it's definitely possible. And I think our story is pretty impressive, and I would have loved to hear somebody's story similar back when I was going through it. So yeah, together for almost 7 years, one beautiful baby girl, and I'm only 20. So I posted a story of my labor and delivery when I was pregnant and went through that. So I have that, and I'm going to be posting more about like my pregnancy and us moving countries on such short notice, and just maybe I'll have him in a couple videos. And yeah, so stick around for some more. I'm just starting out, but this is kind of like an introductory to me and Gage. So thanks for watching.